somebody gets jumped by Baloyski, all of them together, as if they're controlled by a hive mind, just go back to their own base. And when Baloyski's already out of position, that's where they peel. And then it took so many tries for ONIC.PH only to make it to the point where their mistake was so bad that it gave the Lord to the side of BLACKLIST International.
And that was the turning point. That one huge objective turned the tides.
We need to take a look at their mentality as well here, all right? Because this is going to be the first loss outside of the group stage, all right? Based in the playoffs.
Yeah.
This is the first loss that ONIC Philippines have. You know, this is insane, actually. Now
Their
that I think about it.
second loss throughout the whole World
tournament.
Championship.
Exactly. Game loss, by the way. So, again, this mentality-wise, how is it going to affect them? I did meet Baloyski just now in the restroom. He seemed pretty okay. He seemed really... Yeah, I mean, if you look at the ONIC Philippine crew right now, they are all smiles, all right? So I really like that about them. They're chill. And we need to see more of that right now for the side of ONIC.PH. They need to stay composed. And what is most important is they need to understand their win conditions. Push in when they have the gold lead. Don't be scared. They're playing that game not to lose, you know? They didn't go for the win. They were just playing not to lose.
Yep. I also saw on the way to what we did during the break, Mirko as well as Leo. I see Kyrie actually stayed in a stage. I think that him and Coach Yeb were actually discussing something maybe about because I think I see him like warming up once again. Maybe he wants to play that Lance once again. ONIC.PH is
that's why.
Shin, as well as the Yu Zhong. Straight up answer this Farsa. It was a problem in game 1, and now they have been trying to solve it.
Exactly. This is what I like from ONIC.PH. This is what I said should have happened in game number 1. All right, aside from the Yisun Shin, all right, maybe that's why he stayed on stage. He was like, Coach, you put me on these high mechanical heroes. I can play Yisun Shin as well, all right? So, Yu Zhong, this is going to be the name of the game right now. Haji was one of the main contributing factors to the victory that BLACKLIST was able to get. Now with the Yu Zhong, it is going to make it much harder for this Farsa to be a factor in this team fight.
Yep, I really like these two picks from ONIC as well. One, throwing back. Two, the Yisun Shin wallbang by Kyrie from earlier in the playoffs. That was amazing. And number 2, just the way Delarski plays this Yu Zhong, not only in the world stage, but even back in MPL Philippines Season 8. He would just draw lines across the map, man. He would say where you can and can't go, and it answers that Farsa so well.
Yeah, loving the Barrett's pick for BLACKLIST International was banned out by ONIC.PH, one of their go-to heroes for both Edward as well as Wise. It's a flex pick as well. One thing that we can expect from BLACKLIST International is that this Farsa as well as Rafaela will be the mid-lane duo for BLACKLIST International. And let's see how ONIC.PH will actually answer this. Lancelot will not be picked up anymore, as the Yisun Shin is the jungler of choice for ONIC.PH, which means that our ONIC.PH might go full macro once again. Maybe they want to go back to these wave clear heroes like Lilia, for example, but played in the mid lane.
Your team is banning.
Coach Ducky, all right. ONIC Philippines, though, now with the Natan pickup as well. Now, look at these picks for the side of ONIC.PH. They might just be targeting Oheb here, all right? Beatrix and Clint has been left open here in the first phase. I think this is the first time in a very long time.
I guess they're more confident this time around because they have the Yu Zhong. So far, Lolita has been snubbed in this series, which has been the flavor of the tournament thus far. And the fact that they're leaving these open means maybe they have the clear answer. And you're looking at it right here. It's that dragon. It's the Yu Zhong. ONIC.PH takes out the Brody. I'm guessing maybe this other one might be another targeted ban, and then they go from there.
Yep, with the Brody as well as the Clint, the considerations for bans from ONIC.PH, but knowing BLACKLIST International, they can still go back to something like an Alice. Although BLACKLIST International, that is definitely one of the heroes that play on OE, but not really the best choice. Now, this is what I like from, this is what I actually expected from ONIC.PH to do. Last pick the Baloyski hero, or maybe second phase pick that hero. That Matilda, as good as it is, it's one of those best heroes, right? But you can't do that against BLACKLIST International. These playmakers from the role should not be countered by BLACKLIST International, because you can see we're baited by that Matilda.
And looking at it from a macro standpoint, maybe game 1, ONIC.PH was too honest. Maybe they revealed their cards too soon, and BLACKLIST, even from the blue side, was able to draft around it. Looking at this last ban by ONIC, of course, it's going to be the Phoveus. Gotta respect that hero on Edward.
Beatrix is still available, so is Clint. They ban both Cho as well as this Natalia, the 3 heroes that gave this ONIC.PH's unbeatable campaign in the upper bracket, now banned out by BLACKLIST International. Are we looking for another Lilia pick? They still go back to the Matilda.
But maybe it's better this time around.
Yes. Woo. That's what I was gonna go for here right now. Matilda. Now that you have the Yuzong that can dive, the Yi Sun-shin that can dive and kite away, it is gonna be really good for the Matilda, adding again some sort of disengage, some sort of engage. This is a complete hero, right? When we're talking about Matilda, she can do it all. But let's see, BLACKLIST, they have the chance to pick up either a Beatrix or a Clint, and also the jungler. What jungler do they want to go for? Perhaps, maybe we've already seen the jungler here, the Barretts.
Yeah, I agree. So you still have like Paquito, and well, sometimes BLACKLIST International goes for Lapu Lapu because this really looks like a good Lapu Lapu game against both Nathan as well as Yi Sun-shin.
Oh yeah.
Another option is that Glue, but it's probably not the priority. Yeah. Again, Beatrix is still there. Go back to the Uranus. I think ONIC.PH can go back to Lunox. The difference, though, is that they don't have the best wave clear in the world against a potential snowball from BLACKLIST. This is Rafaela plus Barretts. They want to push and push and push. So now, if you're ONIC.PH, you're looking to answer either the tankiness of both Barretts as well as Lunox, or just answer the wave clear. Either way, they will have to choose only one.
My problem with the Lunox is it feels a little slow. ONIC.PH, they're gonna have to use a huge chunk of the guiding winds to really position that Lunox, or else once again it might be the same story as game 1 all over again, wherein they isolate one and then it all just crumbles. Let's see if they're gonna fall for it. Instead, no. Is this what I think it is? I think is this mid money? Is this mid money?
Not entirely sure.
Paquito mid.
Hatred?
It's Paquito mid.
No, it's not. You're right. Is this a throwback to season 8? Are they switching it up like that?
It's a throwback to season 7, man, when Paquito was like used everywhere, right? As a roamer, but very interesting pickup here. I mean, technically, yes, it is going to be really good in that mid lane, getting some pressure then, and obviously Farsa will be pressured constantly. But what we do need to look at from the side of BLACKLIST is that they don't have a reliable source of engage. They are they're relying on ONIC Philippines to dive them first, you know?
Yep.
Going in for the Rafaela kite back, going again for those prolonged fights, whereas for ONIC.PH, they also kind of strive in these long fights with the Yuzong, the Yi Sun-shin, and especially the Natan.
Yep, and if we're looking at BLACKLIST International, though, their lack of engage did not lose them the game in game number 1.
Yep.
They're actually masters of this, luring tactics where they bait out ONIC.PH. This time, though, after game 1, ONIC.PH, will they actually be forced into those kinds of situations? Will they be lured again by BLACKLIST International as we head into another pause?
An intermission before we go ahead and get into the map. Fellas, I'm not sure. I don't recall. Who was playing which? Was it confirmed?
Yes, it is. It has been confirmed. Hatred, the one on that Paquito. Very, very interesting. Once again, I agree with you. I'm just as confused as you, but we need to take a look at why possibly this might have happened. Going up against BLACKLIST International, the one thing that they lacked in that first game is that gap closer, all right? They didn't have anyone, technically not gap closer, but lockdown, all right? With Paquito, it adds both. You have the knockdown, you have the knock-off strike that can lock down these enemies in place, and that gap closer that you really, really need. And guess what? ONIC Philippines, it's not like they're just changing their gameplay 100%. They also have that siege that they really want to go for. The Yi Sun-shin and Natan is going to add so much to that banana split that we already know, especially that Mountain Shocker.
Yeah, I think ONIC.PH, they're playing on the same strengths they had from game number 1, but this time around,
They're refining it.
They're refining it and they're adding more elements that allow them to fight BLACKLIST on this more fluid team fight style. Yes, game 1, they were more sustained. They wanted to stay in a little longer, maybe last 2 or 3 more ults, but it's very fluid. So is this right? Am I reading this right, Wolf? That ONIC wants to fight the same way?
Yeah, fight the same way, but in a different approach.
Yes.
Well, that actually is a no, if you think about it. But at the same time, it actually helps ONIC.PH to solve their problems on the go. So for the previous game, it was a one-off wherein if they don't control the early stages of the game, eventually snowball into the mid-game, they will not have any ways to solve their problems. It's just there, and they will have to wait for a mistake from Blacklist International. Whereas this time, it's true that they will engage with the same approach, but this time more solutions if ever something bad happens in the mid stages of the game. This time, we might see the classic banana split. In game number 1, they didn't have any options for that. They were so all in their strategies. It was their snowball and slash death ball kind of strategy, but this time, we see both marksmen and a lot of wave clear, a lot of engage potential as well. But then again, they're generally weaker in the early to the mid stage of the game, which means, my God, we're gonna see the banana split once again.
Honestly, right now, the banana split is going to be a really, really good way to take those early turrets. And also for those neutral objective fights, it's actually going to be really good. Again, yeah, I really like the draft coming in from ONIC Philippines. But now, let's shift over to Blacklist, all right? Yep. Their composition is very much the ultimate bonding experience that we all have come to love and know. But again, it's refined. It feels like they can do much more than just that stick together kind of comp.
Yes, and in the early game, again, ONIC has that problem now. But just like in game number 1, they might actually flip the script, and ONIC might find more windows where Blacklist have to think on their feet. Because looking at their lineup, yes, there's a Farsa, yes, there's a Beatrix, but they're relatively dull, or there's not much teeth here in the first few minutes, right? You're looking at a Barats, you're looking at a Uranus. Like, they have to pick their fights.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just about the timing of when to pick those fights. Not just about the in-game timer, but with the items that they can have. Imagine if they do get like the Sky Helmet eventually, or the War Axe on this Barats, then combo it up with the Blade of Despair into the Malefic or Hunter Strike from this... or Demon Hunter Sword, I mean, for this Beatrix, they can tear through all of the turrets and just win the team fights and roll over ONIC.PH eventually. Then again, they don't have the hard engage. So, we'll see. Honestly, the bigger problem that ONIC.PH will face now is wave clear. They do have wave clear, like Nathan as well as the Paquito, if you think about it, the Yi Sin Shin. But then again, they kind of have to just focus on those minions. They don't have mages like Farsa, Lilia, or the Eve to actually stop this slow push, slow siege from Blacklist.
Even on a marksman-to-marksman comparison, you have the Nathan versus Beatrix. Beatrix's ults, or even a switch-up of a weapon makes it so much easier. In comparison, Nathan still has to do it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah,
absolutely. But, you know, I think it's not about the wave clear. I think it's more about the range, right? Because with the Farsa, technically, what you can look for in the sieges is you're able to zone away these marksmen from hitting the minions, right? So it's not about just the pure wave clear. Because honestly, if I'm looking at both of the compositions, their wave clear, they're both equally good. One has more damage with the abilities, the other one goes for the old-fashioned way, like you mentioned, Leo. But it's all about that range. It's all about these dynamics from both of these matchups. The Farsa will definitely be a huge disability for the Yi Sun Shin and the Natan. But then again, they also have this Yu Zhong. This Yu Zhong that is going to be just such a nuisance once again for the Farsa. It's all going to come down to how they execute these pushes, these sieges, these everything in these team fights as well.
Yep, there's so much value eventually for this Farsa as the first pick for side of Blacklist International. It's a one-size-fits-all kind of hero. When it comes to the mid-lane choices, Farsa has been one of the top priorities for teams because it is a hero that normally doesn't get banned out, and it's actually, you know, it fits almost all of the strategies because of that wave clear as well as the long-range vision that you get out, and there's also a stun. It's just really so much value for Blacklist International. To top it all off, ONIC.PH went for a double marksman setup, which, you know, Farsa loves to play in those kind of situations.
She just melts him, she just puts him down. But here we go. Wolf just explained exactly why Farsa is so important in the current metagame as she was years ago. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 2, Blacklist International versus ONIC.PH. It is indeed going to be a mid-lane Paquito, and I feel like it's going to play the same role as a mid-lane Cho without the CC, but more of a re-engage tool.
Let's see, again, Beloyski is going to be instantly in that top side towards Marky. I mean, this is technically what you need. Yeah, all right. Marky's picking up that gold buff, and happy feet.
Yep. You have to time it between the Renner Blast from Oheb, who is very good at doing that, stealing things from out of nowhere, from other people's noses. I'm wondering when Venus is going to do the same, when Venus is going to go help out. Actually,
Haji.
not just Haji here as well. It's a 3v1. Marky may have gotten trapped, uses the flicker already, and the stun, and speeding him up, and there's the kill. First blood, brought to you by Razor, goes on over to Oheb.
Yep, very overzealous there, very overextended for Marky. He knew that Beloyski was no longer there. Technically, if Beloyski was still there, they could have gone for something. But again, yeah, Beloyski has other things on his plate. He needs to be able to secure these positions and open up the map. And there you go, Kyrie going into the enemy jungle.
Yep. Well, that's what Wise also did.
Here comes a swing back. Level 4, Kyrie jumping in. Oheb looking low. Flicker already used up. Hatred dashing in, takes a few hits, and they disengage.
Yep. Might be pressuring the mid lane as well, as look at this Uranus just being a problem against this Yu Zhong. It's actually, when it comes to the Yu Zhong versus the Uranus, what the Uranus can do is just to cut the waves and actually not engage against the Yu Zhong, and might win that fight because of that.
Oh, Black Dragon form used up by Dilarski already. Haji retreating. Turtle secured here by the STB with the help of Kyrie. And that's going to be one down. Wise traded out for Beloyski. Better airstrike by Haji. Dilarski taking a few hits, and they go ahead and retreat. Huge trade though, huge swings on the map.
Yeah, that's really good for the side of BLACKLIST International. Sure, ONIC.PH, they were able to steal away the turtle. That actually, now I'm confused. Because it's good for both of them, right? Kyrie getting the assist, getting that turtle, and also just scaling really well right now over than, better than Wise at this point. If you can take a look at the items, he's already building towards, oh, wait a minute.
Venus taken down. You were saying War Axe.
Yeah, all right. So he's already building towards that War Axe. And again, for Yi Sun-shin, this is one of the crucial items that you need to get early on to secure that. Those stacks are going to matter a lot, that movement speed. In the team fights, in the push, everything you do, it is going to rely on that right now. And ONIC Philippines, they need to just keep on scaling until those item power spikes hit.
Yep, and which really makes me think that ONIC.PH will try to play this slowly. As long as they're keeping their turrets, they're fine. Make sure that the mid-lane turret will not be touched by BLACKLIST International. However, BLACKLIST International, they're just going to be waiting for their timing as well. Again, if there are 2 items available for Oheb, I'm assuming this will be the Demon Hunter Sword after the Blade of Despair. Combo that up with Haji's damage out from the Clock of Destiny and the Truncheon. The siege potential from BLACKLIST International, especially with 2 frontliners, it's going to be great. And ONIC.PH, they don't have the wave clear to stop that from happening.
And again, just in that moment earlier, this fight down here, it's a dance-off. It's 2 very chunky heroes going in mid, Haji alone, able to fight off 3 and clear the wave. That's how important the Farsa is in this game, and that's how great the wave clear is for BLACKLIST International at this current stage of the game. 4 minutes in, ONIC.PH, they want to set something up. They're blasting Haji from the bottom. Kyrie, he still has his skateboard, his eponymous skateboard.
Yeah. I think he's waiting for his purple buff, and then the turtle will appear in 3 seconds. Edward most likely will just proxy the wave, just cut it out, or maybe even join the fight. He's actually coming forward and might be joining the fight.
Watch out! They start with a feather airstrike. 4 men from BLACKLIST International set up for the second turtle. Mountain Chakra, they know exactly where everyone is. Dilarski coming in with the Black Dragon form, catches the queen, circling Eagle, Aster and back, and they catch so many bullets from Oheb. That's going to be 1 down. It's a trade, 2 for 1. Wise, V-Wise traded for Dilarski, and they're not done. They're not done. Marky tries to blast down Edward, and they disengage. So far, ONIC.PH able to get away scot-free.
Yeah, and not just that, they get the turtle, and now they're pushing in. Again, remember, ONIC.PH, they have this composition which is actually kind of weaker here in the early stages. Managing to get the lead is going to be insane. Just going even alone, or maybe even 1,000 gold behind, it's going to be fine for them. But guess what? They are in the lead right now, picking up the good fights, and look at how they're playing these team fights. Perfection. The winning condition really shining through here for ONIC.
And that's because of this Yu Zhong coming up from Dilarski. He did die in that clash, but he would manage to find Wise as well as Oh My Venus, and then eventually shut down Haji from popping off that feathered airstrike, and now they are beating him indeed.
They're finding him, and it's a 2v1 in mid and in top. They've switched their lanes after the second turtle, and Kyrie coming in, threatening a kill onto Edward. Same story, bottom lane, and off-camera kill. Down goes Beloyski, courtesy of Wise. Edward, he's okay, confident he's not gonna die. Take that. Tier 1 up top.
Yeah, absolutely. And now with the tier 1 up top, it is going to set up for the next turtle. But BLACKLIST, they are looking for the trade. Marky getting sniped, and this is where he needs to recall. Nope, he cancels it. Wise and Venus.
He's sandwiched. It's too much to survive. Wise gets that, and they will convert directly into this tier 1.
Oh, let's see what happens here, though.
Oh, Detna's welcome. Get in my belly. Flicker already used up. Beloisky getting spotted here. Wise still stomping away. They retreat.
What a great pickoff coming up from BLACKLIST International. Because of the death of Beloisky in the mid lane, was no one to actually supply the vision for ONIC.PH to guard the side of Marky. And BLACKLIST International took full advantage of that.
Hatred so close to biting it. The huge range on this feathered airstrike up top. Delarski still trying to take down Edward. It's Beloisky and Delarski. The Ski Brothers. Here comes the rest of BLACKLIST International. Circling Eagle. Black Dragon form. They answer back. Oheb with the passion. Blasting him with that SMG. And look at this Delarski. He's low. He's right in the middle of all of them. Taken down by the sniper. Point blank. Beloisky blasting away. Kyrie secures a third turtle. Was that worth it? A body for the turtle.
At this point for ONIC.PH, that's okay as long as it's not Marky. Hatred.
Swing back, they answer. Edward puts a few stacks of the Ionic Edge. Marky to the rescue, cutting this team fight short.
Yeah, as I was saying, it's gonna be a good trade because of the fact that it's not Marky who's dying in these fights. As long as Marky as well as Kyrie are okay, are getting all of these farm, it's okay. But then again, you have to be careful if you're Delarski. Maybe that's their last death. Eventually, ONIC.PH will rely on the tankiness of both Beloisky and Delarski. Both of them not having the best kind of tank ability, but that is the best that ONIC.PH can rely on in this game. Eventually, the lineup of BLACKLIST International can burst down these fighters, so you have to take note of not dying so that you'll get the farm for all those defensive items.
Oh, Wise already starting up with the Detna's welcome, cancels it. In goes Marky. That's going to be a forward entropy, and down goes Wise. Enough firepower to go for the counter engage as Haji puts up a defensive feathered airstrike. They're not done though. The Queen says we can take this. The Queen says we can try to take this. And they're going to go ahead and defend bottom lane. Oh, Kyrie going to get sandwiched. And he's going to use the passive. Crits onto the Filipino sniper. 2 free kills plus a turret down bottom. ONIC.PH back on the map.
Like we said in the draft, it is this Yu Zhong that's just been crucial in these team fights. Look at the timing that Delarski is able to use that Black Dragon form. He didn't do it initially. He waited up until Farsa was in position, then he pops it. That's where Haji, he just can't go for that feathered airstrike anymore. Now with the Lightning Truncheon build, he will do a significant more damage, but the thing is, when are you going to use that ultimate? You have to have that perfect timing and the perfect positioning. That's not going to happen, man. Delarski is just so on point with this Black Dragon form, and they're already using those pushes, those sieges, utilizing the Natan and that Isun Shin.
Watch out for the map. It's a little bit of a split push for ONIC.PH as they want to use Hatred on the mid lane role to show the minions up top.
Oh, it's a full-on engage as Delarski has to use the Black Dragon form on a defensive way, and he's taken out by Wise on the retreat. No punish at all on the side of ONIC.PH as Beloisky gets stunned and still survives. Uses that flicker at the nick of time. But Lord here taken down to almost half health. Here comes Hatred. Walks into a 4-man, a 3-man. He's dashing around. Mountain Shocker. Kyrie trying to keep his mid laner alive. Feathered airstrike set in. Hatred from the north takes him down. Traded for his own life. It's a messy team fight for BLACKLIST and ONIC. Neither want to give up this Lord.
Well played by ONIC Philippines. That should have been them losing every single time with Delarski dead. But look at the way they're able to just save time, get some time on the board for Delarski to spawn back. Sure, that was Hatred picked up, but it's a mid lane for the mid lane. Now with Delarski here, it is going to be much, much better for the side of ONIC.PH.
Oh man, this is crazy as Delarski really just relies on this Yu Zhong ultimate to really mess up with against BLACKLIST International. And then, of course, Hatred sniping Haji. Was it worth it? Because they still lost one hero for that. So 1-for-1 trade-off. I guess the answer is yes, because at least they stopped the Lord take from BLACKLIST International. But you have to be very careful about ONIC.PH. BLACKLIST International is a team that really punishes those trades. When the trades look favorable for ONIC.PH, it seems like BLACKLIST International just finding ways to even up the trade or even just one-up ONIC.PH because of their small movements in the game. For example, really just poking this Delarski Yu Zhong to the point where he's forced to use the ultimate.
Now let's take a look at the items here with Kyrie building up already the BOD, all right? This is where he is going to be so powerful. Maybe next item is going to be the Malefic Roar or the DHS. Consider yeah, it's going to be either one, all right? It's preference for the side of ONIC.PH.
Oh, starting it up with the Feathered Airstrike.
Not good.
Not good. I mean, it was used for vision. They do have that. They need that to be able to open up the map. And Haji spotted by Marky. That's a lot of damage, but Baloyski will not fully commit. Maybe once bitten, twice shy, Baloyski.
Yeah. There was a time where Marky is called the bad boy by Mr. Manjin himself, and that is the reason why.
Here we go. Circling Eagle plus the Black Dragon form Lord at about 1/5 of its health. Wise Denton as well. Answers back. Kyrie gets blasted with the Feathered Airstrike. That's the Lord secured by the Queen. There's a knockup. 3 down for the side of ONIC.PH. Blacklist International punishes the micro mistakes as Baloyski bites it. Edward takes his head. It's only one left. It's just hatred.
A huge mistake for ONIC.PH. Not just the timing of that fight, but look at the members. Hatred was nowhere near that Lord, and they still forced it out. That was them getting overzealous, greedy, and Blacklist will completely just punish them.
Oh my god, it's not an enhanced Lord, but there's no wave clear. Again, the problem for ONIC.PH,
they can end.
They don't have the wave clear. They have Marky this time.
Hatred catches way too much via the Feather Airstrike and the Nibiru's Passion. Mountain Shocker to help clear the waves and push back Blacklist. It's not going to end. Not here.
That is going to be so bad for ONIC.PH, man. They've lost that inhibitor turret in the mid lane. Remember, the side lanes are bad, but that mid lane is going to be bad, even worse here, as they're just, wait, they might just go in for the push.
They're not letting go. Look at where Edward is. He's putting so many stacks on the people. Feathered Airstrike one more time. Baloyski caught out of home. There's the Tona's welcome. Get in my belly and down under the ground. Wise takes him, as well as the inhibitor turret down bottom. Top lane going to be next up on the docket for Blacklist International. They are calculated. They are taking down these turrets surgically precise. There's another Feathered Airstrike. Does this thing not have a cooldown? Black Dragon form force out of Delarski. They're bursting him down. He's gonna survive. There's a Mount Shocker landing on all 5 members of Blacklist International, but they're not done. Hatred weaving in and out, stinging like a bee. There's a knockup. Down goes Edward. Huge punish from ONIC, but the Filipino sniper takes one from the back. Pew! Ow! Kyrie goes down. Delarski as well. 3 defenders left, but it's not done. Not quite yet. As Hatred gets taken down again. Oheb, dual wielding, taking him down with Nibiru. Circling Eagle by Baloyski. He's caught out. Second time in the past 2 minutes. He's still alive. They were trying to distract him, but it's not gonna happen. Marky gets taken down by Haji. Max range. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a wipeout. Game number 2 going over to Blacklist International.
The Filipino sniper. What was that? Look at him. He's hyped. Don't give this man a hero with guns. Ban out the Clint. Ban out the Beatrix. At this point, ban out the Layla from this man.
And I was really just amazed on how Edward used this Uranus. That Lord fight, that crucial Lord fight, I will credit it once again to both Edward and Haji. The far side Uranus combo. Uranus making sure he's top on Kyrie. And they time it well, because there is a point where ONIC Philippines will be so focused into taking that Lord. When the Lord is already at 30% HP, Kyrie wants to get that last hit. But Uranus, with that timing, gets on top of this Yusun Shin, and Yusun Shin without DHS will not deal the damage to Uranus. And then Haji just pops the ultimate in time to punish Kyrie, because Kyrie is slowed down already and too focused on the Lord. That Feathered Airstrike will be on point for sure, and we saw them just destroy this double marksman composition once again with the artillery mage Farsa.
Man, oh man. That is amazing. The fact that ONIC Philippines, they already had a multi-dimensional draft. Blacklist just outclassed them in these team fights.
2 games in a row, Blacklist taking it. Let's see what our analysts think. Back to you, LaFell and Gideon Q.
Thanks, boys. Welcome back, everybody, to the analyst stand once more. This is a pretty interesting game because overall we did see a good battle coming out from ONIC's side, trying to actually split things up. And we can talk a little bit more about the draft, especially since ONIC